Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of ADHD and Crochet. Sorry it's been a little while. Life got crazy. I've got a lot of snails we're going to work on and some imps we're going to work on. This one should look familiar, but I'm adding a little saddle horn to the saddle here. Something I've discovered it needs. So, I have been pretty busy this year. We are in the process of buying a house currently. So most of my weekend time was spent looking at different houses that we were considering buying. We finally picked one, so that part can calm down. But the rest of the year is probably also going to be rather busy, at least the next couple of months. Once we have the house signed over to us, we'll be spending time packing and moving on the weekends. I'll record when I can, but we'll see how many videos I can get out. Trying not to be too excited about the house because we don't know, not signed over to us just yet. We still have a bunch of inspections to do on it. But once those come back, we should have a better idea. I don't know. Cats, of course, have no idea what's going on. But since we're actually going to be buying the house we're moving to, we don't have to worry about hiding the cats from landlords. We definitely have too many. I'll get to probably be moved over last. We don't have to move everything at the same time. We can take our time. And the next one that I'm going to be sewing together is another giant snail, but this has a different shaped shell. I did things just a little differently. Saddle is, of course, going to be the same idea. And my strings got very tangled. That's it. First, we're going to sew the pieces of the saddle together, and then we will work on the rest. I'm kind of reinforcing the back of this a little bit more. I want it to stand up straight. I know I said I'm trying not to be too excited about the house, but I am very excited about the house. It has 6 acres of land. I'm excited because we'll get to have chickens again and we can have other things. I already have a lot of things I want to do for the property. I want to put a garden in front of the one big window by the living room. It does have a barn, but the barn itself is not usable right now. But we'll have to basically make a new barn. That's okay. I don't think we're ready for any large animals right now, anyways. The house does have some needs. Flooring needs to be redone. It's all linoleum that's peeling up. And carpet that has holes in it. There's some things it needs. it's got some door frames as well that need to be redone. The basement is an unfinished basement. I need to put some drywall up and down there and stuff. It's usable as it is, but make it a little nicer. I don't want to put my office in the basement. That way I'm less in the way of other people. We're probably not going to be in the basement too often. I should probably do laundry soon. Something I've kept forgetting all week. But now I'm in the middle of something. So it's probably still not going to get done. I guess this is a reminder to anybody who's watching or listening, go do your laundry. Be better than me. Go do that thing you've been putting off. You have your background listening. I've gotten into listening to a bunch of like AI generated stories, or at least AI read stories. I don't know if all of them are generated. Some of them claim to be from Reddit. I doubt it. They're kind of fun to listen to. Kind of fun to nitpick them for whatever inconsistency they've got going on. AI is such a weird topic. I can see the potential for good, but I know it's not going to be used for anything good. Bean is now murring at me. I'm going to start on these small antenna thingies. And then do the bigger ones and then do the shell. Then I'll see about needle sculpting if necessary. And now Panzer's coming up. He wants a kissy. And being surrounded by cats. I have a feeling my life is going to be all over the place for the next couple of years as we continually make changes that we have to get it into routine with and figure out. That's okay. Sometimes a little chaos is a good thing. If all goes well with the house we're currently in contract with, I think we should be moving in July, getting fully moved in by then. And we should be completely done with our rented place by August. Yeah, if all goes well. which I think the inspections would have to find some pretty glaring issues, some pretty expensive issues with the place for us to not continue on with our contract and with the house. One of the other things about the house is that it is right next to some train tracks. And I mean, like, the train tracks are touching the property line and probably like maybe 600 feet from the house. So we're not just going to hear the train, we're going to feel the train. I have a feeling when I eventually have children, my kids are going to be very excited or completely despise trains because of all of that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I know it's taken me the entirety of living in this current house to get used to the trains every Wednesday night. That's okay. Our biggest concern with the train tracks being right there is more with the foundation of the house. Trains cause a lot of vibrations, and they are still in use. Believe me, I can tell you, they're still in use. I'll also need to look into the school districts near this house. Since we're planning on having children and being there for a while. Because while we would like to homeschool up to a certain age, they do still need like interactions with children their age. I can't keep them in the house forever. Not that I have any yet, just eventual things to think about. Even if I do have a baby in the next like year or so, it's still going to be a couple years before that baby is going to be ready for real social interactions. The first animal I want to get when we have land is chickens, but I might also consider making a duck pond. Might even make it like a koi pond with fish and stuff in it. Spend some time doing that so that when I'm ready to have ducks and stuff, I'll have a body of water for them to splash around in. It's already self-sufficient with plants and fish and things. But with chickens, I can start getting some eggs. I'll probably start with a flock of 6 or something. But I'll probably want to build the coop further from the house. It'll be a long walk every morning to go make sure they have food and things. But if I get a rooster, I won't have to worry about it. The roosters are very loud. One of the more useless animals that I would like to have is a peacock or a pair of peafowl, but a pair will quickly turn into a flock. Do I need a peacock? No. They're just pretty. I like them. Is there any practical use to a peacock? Not really. But I do already kind of plan to have some broiler hens and some laying hens. Much to the dismay of my wife. Thinks naming them will stop me from raising meat birds. It won't. But one of the other things I also want to have is rabbits. Not meat rabbits, but specifically Angora rabbits, so that I can turn their fur, the shed fur, into yarn. Those are kind of my homesteading starter kit. The beginning things I would like to do. Fresh eggs, something I can easily spin into my own yarn. Herb garden, flower garden, vegetable garden. So all of that's probably going to be just prepping the soil until next year. I can start having that. So we will probably just spend a good portion of this year getting the house how we like it, and then we'll start next year getting the land how we like it, how we want it. I might convert a cheap shed into a nice coop for chickens. I don't want them to have true free range of the yard because there are train tracks and a road right in front of our house. I'll probably give them like a fenced area that's more difficult for birds of prey and foxes and things to get in. But they can still have their outside time, their grazing and whatnot. Might have it so it has two doors, two pastures attached. So when one pasture gets destroyed by chickens, they'll have a secondary one that they can have available. Give them a break and whatnot. Nice to be able to envision a future. Gives you something to be excited about, especially when it's actually possible. You have to make sure that your expectations are realistic. But it is fun to plan. We'll probably use a lot of our savings on getting the flooring, the house, the walls all set up. I think that we were budgeting kind of on the low end at about 40 to 50,000. a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom house, although one of the bathrooms does not have a sink, has a toilet and a shower. That one's in the basement, though. The biggest deal. I would definitely want to put a sink in there. I don't know if it needs to be a nice sink. I kind of want to put like a utility sink in there so that it can be used for more than just washing your hands. If I need to hand wash some clothing or something, I'll have a space I can do that. It's inside, not outside. For this, I'm going to probably just pull the face forward a little bit. Pull this down. Maybe. Well, this might work out in our favor. We'll make some knot there. Put it in place. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to come around it a little bit. Here, this side in place. Here, I think we're gonna grab these scissors 1,000 times. I need to figure out how to make natural dye. I know certain things work. I'm gonna have my own things to spin into yarn. Figure out how to dye the yarn too. I know you want to spin it before you dye it. I think that matters. I have a lot of research to do. Go. Right, so the snail itself is done now. Now we can add all the extras. So one of those extras is this little thing that goes underneath the blanket to help give the saddle more security placement. To figure out where that's going to be. I think good. Mister decided to not for no reason. Maybe eventually I'll have projects that I'm sewing together that I made not just by hand, but I'll have made the product itself with in supplies. I'll have made the supplies by hand as well, not just the end result. That'll be pretty cool. That's kind of my goal with the farm. I don't want to have to run down to Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever craft store I so often or order off Amazon. I'll learn how to make this stuff myself. Obviously, some of it, like Brene yarn, I'm probably not going to be able to do myself. Some of that's just too advanced, but the standard spun yarn I should be able to manage. I already have a drop whirl. It'd be cool to get a actual spinning wheel. Maybe one day. You know, if this were a live snail, obviously you wouldn't be sewing a saddle helper onto the shell. You'd probably use like glue or something. Some sort of glue. Maybe you'd use the snail's own slime. That's kind of sticky and adhesive. Stick these things onto it, onto its shell. Put that up there. And now we're going to pin this in place. There. That. There. And grab anything else. Make sure other things are not in the way. Now I kind of want to leave this back end of the flap loose. Let it kind of have its own personality over there. But all around it, we're going to let it like that. Apparently grabbing a smaller snail. Alright, so now this is a bigger yarn that I used. I'm going to need a bigger needle. And hopefully, this is not a problem. Very carefully go through all the layers. I'm going to work myself up in a diagonal up to this pin. in. I've never owned a large snail. I kind of want one. But I have so much going on right now that I don't think I'll be getting one anytime soon. I already have to deal with having 4 cats, a rabbit, and a snake, and we're moving. So if I do end up with a snail in a snail terrarium, that's going to be after the move. I know they have some really neat looking ones. And I don't want to go all the way to the edge here. I want to go right behind the edge. Just so that it's less obvious that the blanket here is visually sewn on. I'm going to go behind this row of stitches. Okay, and then we're going to start our diagonal down to this corner. We can go up and around. I'm sure snails have a lot of fun facts that I just don't know about. I only know things about like sea slugs. I think the only fun fact I know about snails is that snails and slugs, the difference is not necessarily that slugs don't have a shell, that slugs have a shell inside their body and it's really small. Like they absorbed their shell. I don't know how verified that fact is, but that is something interesting I learned. Nothing really to attach here, so I'm just gonna go for it. And I don't really know that I would have finished this snail in an hour if I hadn't started on a different snail. I don't think it really made a difference. But we're definitely just getting through to this point, I think, for this video. So again, I'm still here, still making things, still planning to record more things. But life is crazy this year. A lot of big changes for us. A lot of good changes, but big changes. So recording is difficult. I'm honestly probably going to record multiple videos at the same time that I'm recording this one and just release them later. So hopefully for at least a little while you'll get a little more regular content. So hopefully we'll see how much, but it is just probably all going to be snails and imps. Sorry. That's what I have right now because that's what I've been into making because I found cool patterns, and maybe next time we'll get to this cool guy. He's got the skull pattern shell that I want to put together. So maybe next time we'll get that far. But thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like the video. And if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, feel free to put them in the comments. I will attempt to read them so long as I actually get any. And if you like content like this, subscribe. And otherwise, I will see you next time where we will probably finish this guy and maybe start on the next giant snail, the skull pattern shell. But with that, see you next time.